Paris. It's the city of love, of dreams, and a hub of culture. It's the place where we first met XIIIX, the first girl to enter the Luniverse. The mystery of this newfound world was established on these aged cobblestone streets. And from the time of its establishment, so much has unraveled. The secret of secrets has been revealed, and a new world has opened to us. So, it's no surprise that we, after reversing, have landed back in the land of the first girl, XIIIX. But what is BBC trying to show us? What can we infer from the minimal, yet crucial details that have been revealed to us? Today, let's examine this new teaser, XIIIX, and formulate new ideas and strings of thoughts in relation to the upcoming comeback. Without further ado, let's enter the Luniverse, where we'll land in Paris. First, let's discuss the blood moon. On the day of this teaser's release, a cosmic phenomenon occurred. January 21st, 2019. A super blood wolf moon could be seen in the sky. This was, no doubt in my mind, planned by BBC. And it's no coincidence that this blood wolf moon occurred the same day that our wolf girl, Olivia Hay, was centered in a teaser where we saw this exact blood moon at the beginning. This blood moon had a zoom and a cinematic static indicating a rewind. Where else have we seen this moon before? Ah, precisely. We saw this blood moon on the Plus Plus teaser that had been dropped July 27th, 2018, the same day that another super blood wolf moon occurred. If you live in the western part of the world, you would see that the teaser was dropped on the 28th. That is because we are behind South Korea by a day, so it shows us that it was posted a day after. The same goes for the XIIIX teaser, as it shows that it was released on the 20th when BBC really dropped it on the 21st in South Korea's time. Eclipses are seen all over the lore, most notably the eclipse that completed XIIIX, which also allowed for the following moon phases to bring in the last four girls, as well as reflect their reverse or mirrored properties. In the Plus Plus teaser, we now know that it was teasing Luna's debut. If we look closely, we can see flashes of the moon. 1/3 with Love and Live, Odd Eye Circle with Mix and Match, and YY by Y's Beauty and the Beat. These moons are quickly shown with VHS static over them as well, and it isn't until we see all three of the names that Plus Plus appears on the blood moon. By all three of them coming together, we were able to create their union and see their debut. But honestly, what does Plus Plus even mean? No one ever really discusses the significance. We see, in Luna's album Repackaged Names, that BBC likes to join two opposing words together to create one name. It always has no spaces in it, which really does make it one singular name. Love and Live, and its reverse, Love and Evil. Mix and Match, and Max and Match. And Beauty and the Beat. So Plus Plus is more like addition, moving forward in the lore, and union, as we saw from debut. XX will be the reverse of that, where we go backward, resolve some things, and division. But what if I told you that Plus Plus also has another meaning? A theorist known as Croissant de Luna made a video when this Plus Plus teaser dropped. In this analysis, they mentioned that Plus Plus was a symbol that we used to represent checkmate in chess. Since XIIIX was the first debut, Croissant de Luna thought that maybe BBC would grant a French name to Luna's debut in relation to Plus Plus. They, being a French orbit, translated Plus Plus, and stated that it would be pronounced as, which can be written as a check and mat, check and mate. This fits the theme the BBC had been utilizing since the first subunit, and also reflects the mirroring and looping properties of the Luniverse once more. I've mentioned before that in the Luniverse, there are many opposing pairs. The origin of this is the yin and yang symbol, where opposite forces may actually be complementary and interconnected, and could bring about aspects of each other as they interact in our natural world. Good and evil, dark and light, blonde and brunette, up and down, heaven and hell, just to name a few. In the game of chess, there are only two teams, black and white. White is always the team that goes first, and the entire point of the game is to check the opponent's king. A check is where the opponent's king is threatened by capture, with no possible escape, and the player must capture the king on the next move. Checkmate. Declaring checkmate mostly means I win, because after that, there is nothing that the losing player can do once the king is captured. We even hear, in popular media like television and novels, characters saying checkmate after a long-awaited victory from a difficult conflict. Chess is often a slow game that requires a lot of contemplation and meticulous thought. It's a game that's very popular in France, which is the country in which XIIIX began, and where Olivia is starting now. I really wanted to bring up this idea of chess due to one motif we see that correlates with YY storyline as a whole, and that is the stair scene where Olivia lays, fallen, on a checkered floor. This obviously alludes to the scene where she had fallen an egoist, and we know she fell because Eve dropped her, and that Olivia was not yet ready to commit to every aspect of herself in order to rebel and fall from Eden. The checkered floor exactly looks like a chessboard, and since we know that ++ represents checkmate, and that we've rewinded the events of High and ++ in the XIIX teaser in order to go back and right a wrong, we can assume that Olivia is like the king. Towards the end of the game where you would check the king is usually the only piece left on the board. We always see Olivia alone, because she represents anger, and it took a lot of healing in order for her to join with the other aspects of herself, YY, and unite with Luna as a whole. In some theories, Olivia is even alluded to as a fallen angel, like Lucifer, who is crowned king of hell, and represents darkness and sin. So if Olivia is our king, and an egoist in love forever, we saw how cornered she had been, with no escape, we can infer that she had been checkmated by Eve and the other YY girls. They won. They escaped Eden, they grew into themselves and felt true, secure love. But Olivia did not even have that chance during that time. She had been abandoned, angry, and bitter. A true egoist, as BBC had defined, is a girl that admires or envies others, and then it can stem from self-loathing or disappointment in oneself. Olivia was the egoist. She even said that in Hi. The only other girl that had any compassion or empathy towards our angry girl was Go-On, the hopeful girl. We already know that Go-On has rewinded the tape and has gone back to heal the girls that are still in inner turmoil. We saw in XIIX that Go-On went back to Iceland to heal Hassel by closing her feather in her hand. This is where Go-On triggered the events of the butterfly effect, which will eventually change the entirety of Luna's story that we've seen so far. You can watch my XIIX analysis for a more expansive analysis on that. It can also be observed that Go-On was the only one that looked back at Olivia when Eve, Chu, and herself were leaving Eden. Go-On is the only one connected to Olivia, which can be seen in the YY logo. Go-On's X is the only letter amidst the Holy Trinity of YY that is connected to their fourth outlier counterpart. YY is also made up of two chromosomal pairs, Eve and Chu, obviously, and then Go-On and Olivia. How could Go-On ever abandon her other half? This again correlates to the ever-present symbolism of yin and yang in the Luniverse. In order to have faith, you need love. In order to heal from anger, you need hope. The hope that our Christ-like girl can offer selflessly to Olivia is the most central part of this teaser. Just as Jesus forgives us of our sins, Go-On can't help but forgive Olivia for hers and her struggles. Jesus is said to understand how humans are, and that, after the initial disobedience of Adam and Eve, he gave up his life for us so that we could obtain forgiveness for our sins. Now, Go-On isn't giving up her life necessarily for Olivia, but she is going back in the Luniverse timeline in order to save her, just as she did for Hassel. The biggest indication of this that we have is the three girls in the teaser that represent YY. First, we can deduce that Olivia is now on the Earth plane where she landed in Paris. In Egoist, after she was dropped by Eve, Heejin, a girl from 1/3 who resides on the Earth plane, approached Olivia. We concluded that since a girl from the Earth plane met Olivia, she must have fallen to Earth. After we see Olivia fall down the spiral staircase in this teaser, we also can make the same assumption. Olivia is on Earth, in Paris, and the girls that she meets represent YY. The girl with the afro and the green top obviously represents Eve, as she is elevated to higher ground and dancing like Eve and knew. The girl with the camera represents Chu, as Chu had a camera and heart attack. And the girl atop the balcony in the white dress is Go-On. The visuals used to introduce the girl atop the balcony parallel that of Love Forever. Olivia looks up, and then we see Go-On. Whereas in Love Forever, Go-On looks up, and there we see Olivia. Go-On has traded places with Olivia. As to why she has traded places, I believe it's because Go-On, again, wants to heal her counterpart, but also wants to grant Olivia wings, per se, in order to fly. If you look closely at the scene in the tunnel, as the screen turns red, we see two different butterflies flash across Olivia's back. The first one is a deteriorated pair, with rips and obvious damage. This represents Olivia's wings, or her capability to fly and love herself. As I stated in my XIIX analysis, the airplane in Iceland that Hassel is associated with had broken, ripped wings too, which are not capable of flight. That was why Hassel seeked the dove, She wanted peace, happiness, and the ability to carry herself in all that she does. Similarly, since Olivia's wings are broken, this cannot allow for flight, or rather, her burgeoning to her full potential. An animal with both wings broken has been hurt very bad and deep emotionally. This same symbolism can be applied to angels, and as you may or may not know, fallen angels often have both of their wings broken. And who is there in Christianity to forgive us of our sins, to love us no matter what, and sacrifice themselves for us? We've said that in XIIIX, when the screen turns red, it indicated anger in that context. Red is a color with many meanings, most notably anger, love, and passion. But in the Bible, red is seen as the color of Jesus' blood that he shed on the cross for humanity as he died for our sins. Red is God's love. And as the screen gets redder and redder, Olivia begins to gain momentum in her run, and the second pair of wings flashes on Olivia's back. This pair has been mended through the forgiveness of Olivia's sin. They have been healed by the hands of Go-On. We know that to be true because, in the next scene, if you look closely, the girl representing Go-On is mumbling words under her breath. Then we hear that shrieking trill that we've been hearing all throughout the XIIX teaser series, fly like a butterfly. That's when Olivia's true journey begins, and when she starts to run out of the darkness of the underpass and into the light of day. Go-On went back to the day of ++, to that full-blood wolf moon, and corrected the events of the past so that Olivia would no longer have to suffer. Once we see Olivia beginning to run, seeking something or someone else, we see a very haunting scene of Go-On in the light, looking down calmly at the earth. She can finally be at peace, knowing that she corrected the wrongs done to Olivia, and that she didn't abandon her like she did in Love Forever. So, Olivia now has her wings mended. But why is she running? Well, Olivia's new journey as a healed girl begins with her ascending the stairs that she had fallen down on. This is a very obvious parallel to XIIIX, when Olivia began to ascend those stairs in pursuit of higher ground, indicating holiness or enlightenment. The difference is, this time, that this ascension will be successful now that Go-On has corrected the past. In literature, staircases symbolize a journey, or walk of life. If you're ascending the stairs, that journey will be positive, hopeful, or purposeful. And since this staircase is a spiral staircase, we can assume that, since spirals represent uncertainty and changing of life as it unfolds, this journey will still be windy, but will actually be fruitful this time. We actually saw Eve, Chu, and Go-On descending the spiral staircase in Love Forever, where they left Olivia behind. When one descends stairs, the journey could be confusing, negative, or depressing. And that's exactly how their journey was in Love Forever. So again, this just solidifies Go-On's motives for feeling empathy for her counterpart, and engaging in the butterfly effect so that she could correct the past events in pursuit of a brighter future.